That's right, guys. We're talking about crime again. You know, this is going to be the second installment of a topic that I don't want to talk about, but I feel like I have to talk about because it directly pertains to the watch world, and people don't want to talk about this. You know, it's sprinkled throughout the news, but there aren't people in the industry like putting the magnifying glass on this and being like, what is going on? So 4 months ago, we made an episode talking about why you essentially cannot wear a watch in Los Angeles. And we're a few months away from that episode. And guess what? It got worse. Who would have thunk crime got worse in Los Angeles? You know, here's my first piece of advice. If you've never been to LA, and you want to check out the Sunset Strip, you want to see the Hollywood Walk of Fame, you want to go see the Hollywood sign, my advice to you is to don't do it. Don't come here. If you're thinking of moving to California in 2022, I don't know why you would, but my advice is to not. And then my advice to any fellow Angelinos is to leave, because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting the fuck out of this shithole. California is terrible in many ways. You know, geographically, California is an amazing state. You can literally go to the beach, then go hiking, then go snowboarding, like in a matter of hours. It's crazy, the diversity that we have. The food is incredible in California. Again, it is truly a melting pot of cultures. The things you can see are incredible and beautiful, and your experiences can be great in this state. However, the way the state is run, not good. And that's about all I can say without getting, blacklisted on the social media sphere. But California is terrible. And guess what? All these external stressors that came out the last couple years have made things much, much worse. We're leaving a pandemic. The economic ramifications of that seems like there's going to be a third world war or something. Inflation, record high. All of these things contribute to an increase in crime, because the more unstable the outside world becomes, the less stable individuals feel, which means they're more likely to do things they normally would not. And crime has... So I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of something to calm the nerves real quick. It's actually decaf coffee. I've quit decaf cold turkey. McCafe. That's right. I got a chicken McGriddle this morning. Woo! Baby. You know, the real crime is that McGriddles aren't served all day long here in the US. I don't know why. I complained about that during a live stream, and people in like Australia and Canada were commenting, "Oh, we got 24-hour breakfast at the McDonald's here." It's like, okay, it's not fair. This is an American institution. We deserve to have McGriddles 24 hours. It is 12:36 p.m. Let's get down to business. Okie dokie. So here's a very interesting story from May 9th of this year. It's actually today. It just came out today at the time of filming, and it's going all around Instagram. $19,000 worth of watches stolen during overnight robbery in West Hollywood. So this is interesting because when I first read this headline, I was like, 19 grand worth of watches, that's not necessarily a ton of watches. That could be one watch potentially. You know, $19,000, that's a lot of money. But when we're talking about wristwatches, as you know, they can get very expensive. So that could be like one watch. Here's a very interesting thing. The suspects allegedly used a Rolls Royce as a getaway vehicle. So this is not a group of thugs in like some jalopy Geo Metro coming up and sticking you up. No, these dudes are like in a freaking Rolls Royce. Doesn't seem like they're hurting for cash, but that just goes to show you can get messed up anywhere. So it happened in West Hollywood around Sunset Boulevard and Larrabee, 1 a.m. Okay. So, according to Los Angeles County Sheriff, deputies spoke with a man and a woman who said they'd been robbed by a group of men seen driving a black Rolls Royce. So, they stole one watch from the woman and another from the man. This part of the story kind of made me chuckle, which it shouldn't. Okay, I absolutely have sympathy for these victims here. But check it out. The watches were described by the woman as a Michael Kors watch valued at $1,000 and a Rolex worth $18,000. So the $19,000 worth of watches, it was really just the Rolex, because I don't think they're going to be like, whatever, who gives a shit about this Michael Kors? It's the Rolex. That was the expensive one. But regardless, doesn't matter how many watches were stolen, doesn't matter what watches were stolen. The fact that these people had items that were in their own possession stolen by a bunch of thugs, that's not cool. And like the insult to injury is that the thugs were driving a Rolls Royce. It's like, what the heck, dude? You don't need my Michael Kors watch. You have a freaking Rolls. And you know what? None of this is actually surprising at all, because as we kind of exposed in the other episode, crime is just incredibly, Los Angeles was never like safe, but it's gotten much worse nowadays. And when we take a look at this headline, crime in West Hollywood skyrockets 137% in 1 year. And this is from, March 17th, 2022. So that's kind of insane. That is 137%. So for those of you who don't know, there's North Hollywood, there's West Hollywood, there's Hollywood. These are technically different cities. They're fairly close in proximity with each other. Hollywood is right next to West Hollywood, and then North Hollywood is kind of, towards the San Fernando Valley, further north. There's a lot happening over there, and there's a lot of people, just moving around that area and walking around that area and doing stuff. And the more people that are concentrated in an area, the more opportunities there are for crime, especially when we're taking a look at the fact that there are clubs there and people, exiting these clubs potentially, not fully sober, late at night. They're just easy targets, right? The more nightlife there is, the more opportunities there are to stick them up. But okay, I'm sure some of you guys are like, West Hollywood, Hollywood, North Hollywood, who cares? If it has the word Hollywood, it's bad, right? Just stick to the good areas. Well, that's not the case, because as we've spoken about in the other episode, about a year ago, some dude, a fellow watch dealer, was held up broad daylight at a restaurant in Beverly Hills, like in the heart of Beverly Hills. So it can happen anywhere. He got his Richard Mille stolen, worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But check out this. This is fairly recent, from February 25th. This made its rounds on Instagram.
Daylight attack in Beverly Hills today. A search underway tonight for the two armed robbers who ambushed the driver of a Ferrari who tried to steal his watch. A video going viral tonight is now part of a police investigation showing two men punch and pistol whip the driver.
Broad daylight.
However, their attempt to get his watch failed because the driver fought back. The suspects ran.
Look at this. Chilling his Ferrari. Two dudes roll up on him for his watch. All right. Broad daylight in Beverly Hills. Guys, we're not talking about the slums here. We're talking about very affluent areas. The crime is reaching these areas that were once seen as bastions of safety and sophistication. You're not safe anywhere, and I'm not shocked about this. I'm just letting other people know that might be kind of naive to think that the more money there is somewhere, the better off you will be, because Beverly Hills is about as nice as it gets and doesn't matter in California. Here's another thing I want to bring up, because I know not all of my viewers have been to California or Los Angeles specifically. You'd think that these touristy spots, these places that sightseers will go, they'll be safe, right? Because there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of things happening, and this is where tourists go. The truth is, Hollywood Boulevard, the Walk of Fame, crime is insane there. And I just had dinner with one of my buddies who's LAPD, and he told me that Hollywood Boulevard is like their number one spot now where they get calls. Why would that be? Well, the Walk of Fame, right? That's where all the stars are on the ground. There's a bunch of touristy shops where you can get t-shirts that say funny things like, I went to Hollywood and all I did was get my watch stolen and pistol whipped when I was trying to get in my Ferrari. Things like that. There's the Kodak Theater where they do the Oscars, and there's El Capitan where the Disney Theater. There's a bunch of stuff right on Hollywood Boulevard. I personally lived on Hollywood Boulevard for like 4 years when I first moved here. I was like 19 or something. It's terrible. But there's a bunch of tourists. There's a bunch of people concentrated in an area that is very heavily, trafficked 24 hours. These people aren't from here. They all have cash on them. They're kind of starry-eyed and oblivious. And again, they are easy targets. Don't go to these areas. Beverly Hills, kind of the same thing. People want to go to Rodeo. People want to go see the boutiques and the shops. They want to take pictures with the Beverly Hills sign. You're probably safer in Beverly Hills than Hollywood Boulevard. I'm not going to lie about that. But the truth is, I mean, look at this. A dude getting held up for his Richard meal at a bistro, like in the heart of Beverly Hills, broad daylight. A dude getting mugged, pistol whipped, broad daylight in his Ferrari, Beverly Hills. What I'm trying to say is just don't come to California. I found this little expose here from KTLA, and multiple luxury watches stolen LA crime spree. So they have a little breakdown here. These are only 5 bullet points, but there's a whole lot more than that. Attempted robbery, 1000 block of Larrabee Street, West Hollywood, March 25th. Attempted robbery, 8800 block of Ashcroft Avenue, West Hollywood. Home invasion robbery, Butler Ave, Mississippi Ave, West Hollywood. Attempted break-in and shooting on Burton Way, Beverly Grove neighborhood. That's decent area, 1 a.m. Rolex watch stolen, 8400 block of Santa Monica Boulevard, West Hollywood. Victim, West Hollywood home invasion, said he was closing the garage door when 3 armed men in masks approached him and demanded high-end watches. Victims said thieves used zip ties to bind his wife and held him at gunpoint while they collected about 20 watches. All right, guys, these follow home robberies are incredibly prevalent. You got to be very, very aware. And sometimes you can be as aware as possible and it doesn't matter because these guys roll out with multiple people. They have guns and you got to be prepared. The things I want to say on YouTube, I can't even say because I would get canceled, but you need to be prepared and you probably shouldn't go into these areas. You know, it's funny. I'm a big dude. I know that people call me fat online all the time because I have a chubby face, but in reality, if you were to see me, I'd probably tear like 90% of you guys apart. I'm not exactly the easiest target, but still, like, I'm very cognizant of what I wear when I'm walking around LA in the city now, because I don't want to put me or my girlfriend or my family in a precarious situation. I walk around wearing things like this, all right? This is like a sub $40 Casio, and I'm not going to try to scrap with anybody if I don't have to. This is really dumb. This is really dumb that I even have to talk about this, but if you haven't seen the first episode talking about watch-related crime, click up in the corner. I'll leave a link in the description as well, and you can watch that. I'm much more pissed off in this episode, and it has to be said, guys. California is terrible. Don't come here. It's only going to get worse, and I'm sorry for all these victims. It's probably incredibly terrifying, physically painful, emotionally painful, financially painful. Yeah, it's a huge bummer that these people have gone through it, and even in this most recent one with the $19,000 one, the Michael Kors one and the Rolex, the LA sheriffs were like, oh, these two, the couple, they seemed under the influence. They seemed drunk. It's like, okay, probably not the smartest decision to be drunk walking around West Hollywood at night because you just make yourself that much more of an easy target. But I don't think we should like shame them. They still don't deserve to get held up. It's just a bummer. So guys, let me know what you think about this. Keep it respectful, and maybe let's continue to dissuade people from coming into these cities, because as someone who lives in these cities, I can tell you it's terrible. All right, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed, and be safe. Please be safe. Love you guys. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.